relationship, is it a problem if your partner does not want to have sex?
Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. The audio that you were listening to is from a web series called BKCHAT London. I think it's Back Not Black. But basically it's a group of young-ish, like, so I think London natives in their like 20s to like early 30s, 5 girls, 5 guys, and they basically have like a series of like discussions that kind of pertain to, you know, how we're like growing and, you know, living today. And so a lot of their stuff has to do with like sex, marriage, relationships, cheating, all of that good stuff. And I thought I'd do a review because I actually had never seen an episode before, and one time I was on Twitter, it was like last year, and people were talking about it. So this year I was just like, I was just, you know, on YouTube, and then finally I was just like, let me just check this, let me check it out. And you know, most of them are like, you know, either like their heritage is like African, mostly Nigerian and stuff like that, and I think the Caribbean as well. And so I was just like, okay, you know, we can relate. I mean, watching some of your videos, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's very, very different from my views as a third culture child living in the US versus, you know, them third culture children living in London. But I wanted to do a review of one of their more recent episode, which came, I think it's like season 2, and then this is like episode 1, and it was on celibacy. And I did say that this channel, definitely I wanted to discuss sex, you know, celibacy, relationships, anything that has to do with the woman. And I wanted to do a review of this and also kind of like talk about like my views and stuff like that. And yeah, let's get it started.
If somebody does want to have sex, there probably is a reason for that. And why do we always have to have sex every day anyway?
But you're the same person who would have sex on your period, have sex, get a man to lick you out when you're
yeah,
but
that has nothing to do with anything, by the way. Like, I don't know why she felt the need to point out that she can get head on her like period. Like, that's her prerogative. Like, that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, so I don't want to play because the video is really, really long, like 36 minutes, and I'm just gonna kind of like summarize and, you know, play from time to time and just, you know, him going back and forth. But basically the question is, you know, if someone in your relationship doesn't want to have sex, is it if the woman doesn't want to have sex, or was it the woman, or it's just anyone?
Mean that have sex every day?
Hold on.
Mean have sex. If your partner doesn't want to have sex.
If your partner doesn't want to have sex, is it okay? Now, when you enter into a relationship, speaking from my personal experience, there's not just you anymore, especially when you've entered into a relationship where it's like a long-term relationship. You and your partner are extremely serious, and you know, you can see yourself with that person. Now, for me, sex is something that's very serious, right? But at the same time, it's not something that I am particularly it's not something that I see as women give to men. You're also giving me your body as my man, you know, whatever kind of relationship you may be in, heterosexual or otherwise. You and your partner, you're giving yourselves to each other. Like, and it's not just and when you really like the person, when you're in love with the person, obviously it's like 10 times greater, and it becomes something deeper. It's spiritual, it's mental, it's emotional, it's all sorts of things. It's a coming together of minds and souls, and it's not something that, you know, you take lightly. Now, yes, once in a while you can have those moments where it's like, man, this person, you know, the body no be firewood. So, you know, you have those moments where it's just your body that needs that satisfaction. And you know, if you get to a point where you know your body as a woman, you know what your body needs. I mean, 1, 2, 3, you get to where you need to get to, and you keep it moving. Now, if you now enter into something where your partner says to you, hey, wait a minute, like, I don't you know, want to engage in this because of whatever reason, and we will get to those reasons later. If you have had this, if you've had this discussion prior to you entering into the relationship, you cannot put pressure on that person. Like, you have to understand that, like, celibacy, like, if the person says, I am not doing this, you have to respect that. And don't now enter into the relationship thinking that, oh, you know, you're now going to change the person, or like, nah, like, let the person, if the person tells you themselves that, hey, okay, I'm finally at this point, like, don't put pressure on the person. And you need to know that the person has their own beliefs and values and reasons for, you know, deciding to do what they want to do. Now, if the person never brought this up, and it's been happening, you know, they talk about this in the video, it's been happening, and then midway through the relationship, the person is like, bruh, I can't do this. You're like, son, this is not in the equation. Then you can see why there will be an issue and why there'll be a problem. And it's not by force to stay in the relationship. If that is if sex is going to be put on the pedestal that, you know, that it's been, if you're going to hold in that high regard, which obviously, like I said, is important in long-term committed relationships for many people, you have to either decide whether or not, you know, you're going to go on that journey with the person, or whether or not you're going to stay. Now, you cannot force the person, like, you cannot, you know, force the person to come and start saying, oh no, you have to, like, no. It's either, hey, how do we work this out? If the person says, guy, I'm not working it out with you, this is the decision after, then you have to know, okay, is this thing, how can I handle it? How much can I take? And then if there's something that you cannot handle, you make your way and you exit. Yes, it'll be hard, but hello, excuse me, you go where you need to be going. And if it's something that you guys can work out, then, you know, you will work it out. And somehow during in this video, they kept reiterating and saying that you know, sex is, they kind of like kept the girls, no, not all of them, some of the girls kept using sex as this thing that, like, you know, it's like a treat. Is your man a dog? Like, no, like, it's not something that you're giving out as treats. Yes, once in a while you can have those days where you're backing it up, flipping it up, doing somersaults and things like that. Those are the ones you call treats. But on a day-to-day regular basis, like, fam, like, how is that? No, it's not a treat. It's not something you're giving. It's not a present. Like, you're a human being. You're a human being with needs. You're a human being with emotional needs, with physical needs, and some those needs need to be satisfied. And if you enjoy, you know, being in that kind of intimate space with your partner, then go ahead and experience that and explore that, and don't use it as leverage for you know, anything, you know. It makes no sense to me. Let's play a little bit more and then.
Yes, it is.
I don't think it's a problem, because I think sex is overrated personally. If somebody doesn't want to have sex, then probably is a reason for that. And
this is the highest it goes.
Why do we always have to have sex every day anyway?
But you're the same person who would have sex on your period, have
That
sex.
hasn't done anything I said.
Because you will even go as far as having sex on your period.
Let's talk about this decision that you're making. Let's come to a compromise, because if I feel I don't want to be celibate at this point and you do, then what do we do then?
I'm the type of person, like, medically, I've always been a very sexual person, in terms of, like, I've had to go to see the doctor because I have strong testosterone in my system that opportunity is a bonus. That's led me to grow up to sex. Now, I've grown.
Yo, if you watch this show, this guy talking right now, named Lucas, he can be such a bully though.
Yeah.
He's such an alpha male, I can't deal.
Especially with the newfound fame and whatnot. Do you know what I'm saying? But when you are in a relationship with somebody, or you met somebody who has a strong stance, and that comes from somewhere. Like
his name Adrian or
I've come
like, what is
from
his name? I'm not
has
even
a
sure.
strong stance, and that comes from somewhere. Like myself as well, I've come from somewhere. Where then is the maybe compromise? Because I can stand there and say, well, bruv, my thing is I be in it. I want to fuck in it. Like, let's fuck in
in
it.
all honesty, yeah, when you come in to have a relationship, you've
coming together and there's a level of agreement and you're on a journey together. When certain things change, that's why breakups occur. So there's a possibility that the relationship may just have to dissolve. It's not a problem. Remember, when you first began the journey, you had an agreement and you were on the same wave. Things change. So it's not a problem if you decide, I'm going to break away because you're not prepared to have sex.
Like you said, in the beginning of meeting anybody,
Riva makes sense.
To get into a relationship,
sometimes makes a lot of
sense. To see them, you both would be on some form of the same page, wouldn't you? Now, if I'm someone that I'm a sexually active person and I meet somebody and they say, listen, I'm not really on sex, I have to kind of think twice about entering that situation with them because we're both on two different pages. Me, I'm sexually active, you're not sexually active. So will this work?
So I met someone, I like this person.
Okay, let's
wholeheartedly or whatever. And that person
move on to
it's life. How many things do you like? You don't like one thing. You don't wear the same clothes every day.
Are you mad? My man, like you want to go and fuck someone else, I'm not giving you pussy. I don't understand. No, that doesn't.
Right. Okay. So this part that they're talking about now, I think it's when it's something about like, oh, if as the woman you're the one who's celibate and you know you give your partner a pass. It never read my lips. Read. It never works. Like never. It never works. Never. And speaking from my personal experience, when you're in a long-term relationship and there's a lot of distance in that relationship, be it emotionally or physically, and you think that okay, maybe if you allowed certain things to happen with some rules, like it just never works. It never works because somewhere along the line somebody's going to mess up really badly and you don't know how you're going to come back from that. It just never works. So my advice for anybody who's in that situation is don't do it unless you're not serious about that person. And that's one thing that I realized and I learned the hard way. If you are in love with someone and you want to you see yourself spending your entire life with that person, you cannot afford to play with your relationship anyhow. You cannot afford to give leeway to anything that is going to potentially be a problem and mess you guys up.
That doesn't work where I'm from. In Igbo land, that can run. You know what I mean? You can't go have sex. If I'm not opening my legs, I'm sorry, that's what it is. And if you don't like it, you go out, you step out, you leave the relationship. Me allowing you to have sex, are you mad? I will actually bottle him. Are you mad?
I get the concept because the normal thinking pattern behind that is that if you don't make your man feel sexually aroused or satisfied, is that eventually in time, could be one day, depending on
your man too is supposed to satisfy you. Every time I'm watching this video, it's like he'll satisfy your man. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. Like it's both ways.
Context person for me, I would never love it.
Because for me, you already know. I don't need to answer. Couple trauma. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're my man and I don't want to have sex, if you can't do that, then we can't be together. Basically, you're my own property. There's one thing knowing that your man is going off and doing it. There's another thing not knowing. Not knowing, I always believe.
Whether I know, whether I don't know.
Like knowing that I'm giving.
Like I've learned the hard way. Even when you think that you should know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. No. Unless I tell you I open my mouth and I tell you I want a polyamorous relationship. Yes. Other than that, no.
Like, let me finish. Knowing that I'm giving you that pass, like another woman's gonna sit on you, another woman's gonna kiss you, another woman's gonna suck your dick. Like, are you mad? And then you're not gonna come home and lie with me. You're gonna lie with me, and then no. What you don't know. So what about if you didn't know, but he was still doing it? It won't hurt you though.
Kill the hell out. You're missing the question. She said, if you don't give it up, do you give him a pass? Because what you said, well, listen, what you said, I hear what you said.
No, the relationship has to end. Like.
Because if you've gone out to sleep with someone else.
Or unless it's some kind of thing where it's like, okay, I don't even like no, unless your partner says to you, okay, yes, let's enter into a polyamorous relationship, or let's I don't even know. But for me, I learned the hard way that whether or not you know, if you have mad feelings for this person, like, and then from there, like, so many things are just gonna creep up. Trust issues, like, nah, does not work.
You all know about the process. It kind of sounds all disgusting, but what she's saying is, you're not giving it to him. You give your man a pass to go and get what he can't get at home. Now, I'll let Nuno answer before I expand on what she said.
You must be silly. This is the most dumbest thing ever. So I'm going to let my man go and sleep with someone else because he's not getting enough from me.
You're not giving it to him.
Yeah, I'm not giving it to him.
So would you give him a pass to go and get elsewhere?
Never.
Then what she's asking is, how does he satisfy his urges that you know that he needs?
If he respects me, he will wait. He can suppress it. He can go and do other stuff. If you're...
Okay, so as I said before, no way. If we started the journey together and we started being sexually active, and in the middle of it, I can't even, I mean, I'll be hurt that, you know, my man is going out, and then that will be the end of the relationship. I know that, yes, I contributed to that, but I mean, like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just be like, oh, you have to wait. I'm stuck. Like, I will know something has got to give. That's what I'm trying to. Something's like, you can't eat your cake and have it. Like, something has got to give.
If you're that desperate and you really need to have sex, go wank yourself. You don't need to be like respect
right
me and in the relationship.
You have to try to be logical about this. Either it's ending or like.
Sex just chases me. I mean, he's even next to me now like that. You see the way he just popped up at me? It chases me, so boy. I don't know about anyone else, but celibacy, I can't do it. You know what? I really, really deeply respect you, because me personally, I can't do that celibacy thing. As a guy, seriously, because like for a guy to do that, hands up to you. What for?
So okay, so my personal journey, I've been at different points in my life, I've taken that route, right? That celibacy route, and it's not easy, like, especially if, like I said, you know your body, you know what works for your body, and you know you enjoy shit, but I've taken that route several times, and you know, somehow, you know, I'll meet someone and then I have to make that decision whether or not to end that route or to continue on that route. Most of the time when I meet somebody that I'm serious with and I see myself being, you know, committed to them and all of that, that decision often changes. I think that there's a lot more. Sex is very important in any long-term relationship, and as you get older, I don't ascribe to this whole thing. Like, sometimes, like these days, I'll be hearing that, you know, girls are like losing their virginity at like 15, and I'm like, 15? 15? I didn't even, what was that? At 15, I was in the fucking thinking about school plays and shit. Like, why are you thinking about sex at 15? So for me, it's like 17, 18. That for me is because you're just about to transition into, you know, the adult phase of your life, and I feel like that's when you really should, you know, consider doing anything of that nature, because having sex is such a huge responsibility. I mean, it comes with the thought of, if I get pregnant, oh, what's gonna happen, STDs, you know, your mental well-being, you know, if you're not like mentally prepared and you don't know the kind of person you're exchanging certain energies with, like, for me, it's just, it's different. So, you know, I like I said, you know, sometimes you're going to have those times when you're much older, and as you're getting into your womanhood and your adulthood, you have those moments where sex is just sex. and then you're going to have those moments where sex is a lot more than sex. So me personally, when I meet somebody that I really care about, it runs deep. I mean, we're exchanging intellectual energies, right? Exchanging spiritual energies, or like so much more. So for me, and then when you don't get to engage in that act with that person, it's like 100 times better than anything you've ever experienced. And when you make the decision to take that journey to say, oh, I'm not going to engage in such because of XYZ, whoever is coming to you needs to respect that. Like, unless you by yourself say, okay, I'm going to be active with you. You by yourself have to make. Nobody can force you to do anything. And in this episode they talk a lot about faith as well, and they bring faith into it and everything. And I'm like, faith is important. You can't argue with faith. You can't argue with somebody who says, listen, that divine force, that God that I worship, that God that inspires me to be better every day, I feel like this is not the situation. This is not happening until I'm in a committed ring-on-ring relationship. I understand that, but sometimes somebody is not, like, your partner could not be where you are spiritually, and it's up to you to decide whether or not, it's up to both of you to decide whether or not that relationship is then worth saving, or the person says, oh, I'm going to go on this journey with you, and all of that. And like, at the end of the day, celibacy is ultimately your choice, be it for any reason whatsoever. It's your choice. But something has got to give. They go back and forth saying, oh, blah 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 blah, we're going to have a problem. Yes, you're going to have a problem. If you started off being active, and then midway somebody's you're going, and something, that's just it. Like, for me, it just kind of like the whole discussion kind of just was going back for, and I'm just like, the answer to that question in the beginning, something has got to give. If you're not where I'm at spiritually, and this is very, very important to you, there are many other things that are important, intellect, spiritual energy, all of that, emotional connection, all of that. But if sex is really, really, really important to you, and it's part and parcel of that, something has got to give. Like, either you're going to make a decision to come with me on the journey, and I hope you do it by yourself and wholeheartedly and without any resentment, or it dissolves, and that's life. It is what it is. So I mean, if you guys haven't seen the video, go check it out. There are lots of times in it that I laugh out loud, because some people are just chatting the craziest shit. I'm bringing in things that don't even have anything to do with anything. In the beginning, where the girl Esther says to Nunu about, like, what does that, like, that is not what we're talking about here. I mean, can we, but you guys should definitely check it out. Check out their videos. They're really a funny bunch, and sometimes the cast members change, and I enjoy watching their videos, and I hope to do more reviews on their other videos. And this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so it's a little new, but I really kind of wanted to talk about celibacy, and just how, like, it's a really personal journey, and it's up to you. Like, yes is yes, no is no, and it's something that you have to take on. And if your partner wants to come along with you then yes. If not, something's got to give. That's it. Oh, and make sure you guys check out my other videos, share, subscribe, and follow me on social media at Purple Pastry Twitter, Purple Pastry Instagram, Purple Pastry Snapchat, and definitely check out my blog. I'm gonna be writing more. I haven't been writing in a while because work, everything is crazy, but I'm pushing, so push with me and support. And I'm going to be here. I'm gonna be present. Make sure you guys comment, tell me what you guys think about celibacy too, and about that journey of celibacy, and how it affects your relationship, if it ever has affected your relationship or anything of the sort. I hope to do more serious videos like this and, like, you know, talk about stuff that I really care about, stuff that I like talking about. So yeah, catch you guys later. Ciao.